you need to evolve or you will get left behind. Now, I do want to apologize in advance because clearly I've lost my voice. However, I don't want that to stop me from putting out content. So I do want to apologize in advance, but hopefully you can still bear with me and receive the value that I want to share with you guys. So the reason why you need to evolve or you will get left behind is because the only constant in this planet is change, right? You see, so many people are accustomed to getting comfortable, right? Where they might be in a certain occupation or in a certain position and think that as long as I stay here, as long as I continue cruising, everything's going to be fine. And I'm here to tell you that if you do not continue evolving, if you do not continue getting better or improving as a person and striving to become the best version of yourself, you will ultimately get left behind because, like I mentioned, change is one of the constants in the universe. And when you think about just technology or society as a whole, it is always advancing, it is always improving, right? We are always moving forward as a society, right? Back then, when I was a kid, we used to have like telephones at home before there were cell phones, and now we have cell phones, and now we have smartphones, and now we have all this technology, right? And in today's age, we now have the advancement in artificial intelligence, right? AI. And think about how many people are being impacted by AI now, right? People whose jobs were to just be doing standard tasks, right? That is now being replaced by artificial intelligence. So there's so many people that are losing their positions, right? Even think about the ordinary cashier, right, at a local grocery store, right? Cashiers are now being replaced by self-checkout machines, right? And they'll just have maybe one or two employees there to oversee the process. But those roles are being taken out as well. And so I'm saying all this to wake you up to what is going to be happening in the future, right? And for you to place an emphasis on your growth. You see, when so many people, they think that the only time they should be learning is in a classroom, in a traditional educational setting. And I'm here to tell you that learning in a classroom is not the only place to learn. Even after you get your degrees and you graduate and you enter the real world, right? Your learning should never stop. You should always be willing and eager to learn new skills. You should always be willing and eager to improve and learn new things about yourself and to better yourself, because the environment and the climate is always changing, right? If the world is always advancing and moving forward, but you ultimately stay the same person, then what happens is the gap is going to get widened, right? Because this is the world and this is you. You are staying in as the same person in the same position, right? However, the world is advancing. So as you can see, the gap is going to continue widening and widening between the world and you. So then if you stay the same person, you are not going to stay in the same position. You are actually going to be getting left behind. This is why for the folks who have worked the same job or the same position, receiving the same paycheck, they struggle more and more as time goes on to make ends meet because inflation, because of the markets, right? The prices are going up for almost everything, but they're still earning the same amount. So they're going to continue struggling. And it's because they're not learning any new information. They're not exposing themselves to new ideas, to new thoughts, right? To wanting to get better and to learn new things and to grow as a person. And I am so passionate about this because I want you to also share that same passion. I want you to learn new skills like high income skills, or learn new information that's going to change your perspective about yourself in the world so that you can ultimately improve your situation, right? For so many folks, they, might experience financial hardships. And what I eventually learned over the years is that finances, like money itself, simply represents value. And so the wealthiest people, you can look at the Forbes billionaires list, right? These are typically people who own businesses, and businesses, the way that businesses earn money is by serving other people. But they've amassed a fortune because they've provided tremendous amount of value to people all over the globe, typically to millions or billions of people. And so for most people, because they're not aware of that, their focus is not on that. Their focus is not growing and improving as a person to then better yourself so that you can best provide value to other people and best serve the world, right? Most people are not approaching life with the mentality of being of service to other people, because most people, when they live their life, they operate with the mentality of what's in it for me and what can I ultimately get out of this. And The problem with that is that if you're just thinking about yourself and you're just so focused about yourself and what you can gain, then you're not putting yourself in a position to provide values to other people, which will ultimately allow you to receive value from them in the form of compensation, right? So as you learn, as you better yourself, as you read books, as you educate yourself outside of the classroom, right? You'll begin to make sense of the world. You'll learn more about yourself. You'll learn more about the world around you. And then you'll begin to better keep up with the times. But you'll also be doing things to strive to serve other people, because that's what this world is all about. This world is all about creation. This world is all about you bringing out ideas and your imagination and bringing that out to the surface, right? And being able to use the gift that you were given to create in order to better society and push everything forward. And that is how you truly begin improving your life for the better. Your life begins to improve once you decide to improve. Once you decide to better yourself, that's when your life is going to begin unfolding for the better. And things will get better for you the more people you decide to serve, right? The more you decide to grow as a person. Because here's the thing, when you better yourself and improve, that's when you'll not only uncover, but you'll be able to discover the value that's always existed within you since birth, right? You'll realize that you are worthy, that you have been worthy since birth, and that you are valuable, that you are capable of being a valuable contributor to society. And as you do that, you are evolving because you are growing as a person. You realize that you are capable of doing more, right? Some of you watching this video, you might be working as, you might be bagging groceries somewhere, right? And obviously there's no shame to anyone who's bagging groceries, but you could be bagging groceries and you realize as you develop yourself, you realize like, hey, that there's more to life than this, that I can offer so much more to other people and to the world than this, that this doesn't have to be my destiny as, someone that bagged groceries. I don't have to do this for the rest of my life because I am being called for a greater purpose, that there's more for me to do out there. You'll begin, as you invest in yourself, you will begin changing. And as you begin changing, that is actually a good thing, because as you're changing, right, and ideally you're getting better, you're learning, right, you're improving, that is going to allow you to always stay ahead of the curve. Because remember, people who are comfortable and complacent, they'll stay in the same spot, but the world is moving ahead and advancing. So you need to actually be advancing and improving so that you can get ahead of the curve, right? And if you keep getting better, improving, then the gap between you and society is going to be widening for the better, right? You're going to be way ahead. And this is how people, right? If you improve and get to the point where you're able to provide tremendous value to people all around the world, then your finances are naturally going to improve and they're naturally going to be taken care of. And then if it ever gets to a point where some sort of, financial crisis hit or some economic downturn happens, you won't even be worried or concerned about it, because you've basically put yourself in a position where you're effectively recession proof, because you're always providing value to other people, right? You see so many people, they have the misconception that they think that, because a recession is happening and everyone's struggling, then no one is making money, everyone's struggling financially. It's like even during the COVID pandemic, there were plenty of businesses that skyrocketed, plenty of businesses that were doing exceptionally well, and other people that weren't even affected because of the pandemic. And that's because they still continue providing value to other people. Even during a pandemic where people are fearful and people aren't maybe spending as much, we are still creatures that have unlimited wants, needs, and desires. So we're always still going to be spending money. We're always going to buy things. We're always going to spend money on food, spend money on, right, like the things that we need, right? And we're, even if there's plenty of people who are affected by the pandemic, there's going to be plenty of people who aren't affected by it that are still going to be desiring the things that, the products and services that exist out there, right? So I say all this to let you guys know that the only constant in this world is change, because every moment that we experience is a brand new moment. No moment is the same. If you think things stay exactly the same in life, it is because you are creating that same event over and over and over. You're thinking about the past, you're focused on the past, so you're creating more of the past in your future and in your present moment. Or you're so fixated in the present moment that you can't create anything new because you're thinking about the present moment. So your attention and your focus on the present moment. So you're actually creating more of the present moment over and over and over, right? If you want to create a better future, you need to be thinking about the future. You need to be thinking about the life that you want to be living and step into that. You need to be thinking about the person you want to become and stepping into that. That is how you evolve, is by you getting better, by you investing in yourself, by you deciding that your journey is never going to end, that there can always be a 2.0 version of you, a 3.0, a 4.0, right? Perfection doesn't exist, but growth and improvement does, right? So you can always keep finding ways to get better. And that's something to be excited about, right? You can strive to get better at, speaking in public. You can decide to get better with improving your health and getting into better shape. You can decide to get better, by learning new skills, by playing an instrument. You can decide to get better by improving your relationships with the people around you. You can decide to get better by improving your attitude. And each and every one of these things is going to help you evolve as a person. And so that is what's going to allow you, as you get better as a person, as you grow and improve, then your finances are also going to grow and improve, because you are a better person. You are now more valuable to society, and you are aware that finances and money, it just represents value. So the people who have more money are typically people who provide more value to more people. And so because you now understand that, because you've now evolved as a person, you now know what this game is all about. You won't look at your finances and look at a number in your bank account and it's not to your liking, and you just think that that's your self-worth, when you know it's not. When you've evolved as a person, you know that finances will be taken care of as long as you continue providing value to people. That's all it is, right? And as you do that, right, everything in your life is going to improve and get better. And then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how fast or how technologically advanced the world continues traveling. It's like you can always be able to outpace that by evolving, because you know things are always going to be moving forward. So you need to continue to be moving forward alongside of it. And that's all it's about, right? You don't want to be one of the folks that get left behind and have to live life struggling and then feel as though you've gotten too old where you can't learn anything, which obviously it's false, right? You can always learn new skills at any age, right? But you still want to be up to date with the times, but you want to continue bettering yourself as a person. You want to be open to learning. You want to always be diving into books and just expanding your mind and exposing yourself to new ideas. Whatever area of your life you want to improve, open your mind to that. Open your mind to those ideas, because you already know what you already know in your head. And typically, right, I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt that that we all try our best in life, right? So if you've tried your best and all the information that you've learned got you to this point, then the only way realistically for you to make that leap to another level is by you exposing yourself to new ideas from people in the position that you want to be in, because maybe they have an idea or a certain thought process, a way of thinking that is better than your current way of thinking. So if you adopted that new belief, you can also get better in that area of your life as well. So the message for this video is for you to understand and be aware that the world does not stop or slow down for anybody. The world is going to continue advancing and it's going to continue moving forward. And if you decide to stay the same person, you won't stay in the same spot in life. I promise you won't stay in the same spot in life. You will effectively be moving backwards, because the whole world is moving forward and it's going to be leaving you behind. So the only way for you to either match that pace or go past it or blow past that pace is by you evolving, is by you growing and getting better and improving and investing in yourself and surrounding yourself with the right people and feeding your mind the right information. Because as you evolve, that's when you get better. That's when everything in your life improves. And then because you're better, it will matter less if you've ever encountered tough times or difficult situation, because you've improved as a person. You are now better equipped to manage that and go through it, rather than you remaining the same person and then being stuck whenever an obstacle hits you in life, right? The goal is for you to get better and to grow and become the best version of yourself, so that you can create the life of your dreams, so that you can be living life beyond your wildest imaginations, right? You deserve it. You deserve to live a life that's fulfilling, and you deserve to create the life that you've always wanted to live. And you can do that and get closer to that by taking steps each and every day to get better and to improve. That is you evolving, and that is you being on your journey of growth. So the journey of growth is always going to be the most important, and that is what's going to get you from where you're at now to where it is that you want to be. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video. Do leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to a million subscriber, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.